So I've actually been sitting back there being quiet because this scares the shit out of me. And I do it all the time. But we're actually going to do things in this session. First, I'm going to tell you some stories about how I've screwed up, and then how not to do it, and then how to do better than I did, so you don't have to waste your time. I changed the title. So I've been sitting back there also redoing my slides to the horror of all of the people who are actually doing the things, because I keep hearing a lot of the same themes, and I have a lot of questions, and they're like, well, there's no metrics for that, or how do we do that? There are, and I'm going to try to answer as many things as I can throughout this presentation and the next one about how to infuse the ideas of community, social impact, diversity, equity, that's a big one that we skip over, and inclusion in everyday business practices. So how many of you guys are owners of companies? Hands up really high, because you deserve it. It sucks so hard sometimes. Okay, and then the rest of you work for other people, or you have a pet project or a side hustle. Who has a pet project or a side hustle? I do. It's called knitting and children. That's actually my full-time job. So I own LimeRed. It's so hard to explain what we do. Do you guys know what IDEO is? Do you know IDEO, the big design agency? Okay, well, we do that. They're this. We're this. We're smaller budget, 7 people, but we only work in social impact. We do everything in design with a capital D, from naming buildings and organizations to building apps. Most of what we do is strategy and consulting and web stuff and tech and database stuff. It gets really nerdy. So nerds, let's talk about some of the times I've screwed up. Is nerds gender neutral? Can I say nerds? Okay, go. That's what I call my kids. So I've run my company for 14 years. That's me. When I was 12, when I started my company. Now, I'm 40, so that's not, I was 26 when I started my company. And I started it because I had a shit ball of a boss. Am I allowed to swear a lot? Oh, good. Thank fucking God. Oh, good, because I can't help it. I started my company in 2004 because I had had a couple of gigs doing design work, selling credit cards to children, selling pots and pans to people who don't need new pots and pans. They're just going to throw away their old ones, selling shredders based on fear campaign marketing. So I kind of started having panic attacks, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. So I quit my job. I had a computer, and that's it. I don't have a rich family. I have privilege because I'm a white lady from a middle-class family, and I went to a private university. So I had that, and I had a computer and 2 cats. And I started my company because I was like, I can't do this anymore because my hair's falling out, and I can't sleep at night. So I just quit, and I was like, screw it. We're just going to start this. So this is me in Brooklyn in 2004 in my non-air-conditioned tiny studio. And here's a real brief timeline. Oh, it's kind of cut off, but that's actually current. So I established my company and moved to New York because why not? I'm in Chicago. I started having panic attacks again in 2009 because I had sold out and was doing luxury cosmetics travel and selling $800 boots, and I wanted to die. So I was like, no. Go back to Chicago. And that was when the market tanked, so that was a fun time to move and start over. But then I actually did okay. I started hiring in 2010. I was a certified woman. I'm a certified woman who runs a company. And then our governor, who is also a piece of work, decided to not fund my market, which was universities and nonprofits, and then my company almost tanked because that, plus having a baby and not being able to close a deal because I'm pregnant, kind of almost tanked my business. So we made some big changes, went to more social impact, social enterprise, and tried to figure out how to do that. And then cut about half of our client base. And then weirdly, later that year, I had an almost total staff turnover because Obama poached a couple of my people to work at his foundation. So that was thanks, Obama. He's a great guy. We went there last week to do a thing. Like, we're cool, but still, like, that sucked. So, right, that's for real. So it was a really tough year, and it's never not tough as a business owner. If you are an owner, you know. And if you're thinking about jumping ship, just know that it's pretty tough. And every about 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to want to try to burn it all down. I was there like 2 days ago, and then I won this huge job. And I'm like, okay, I'll stay at my job for a little longer. But this year, I've been saying no to everything. I've actually quit teaching at Columbia College. I've resigned all my board positions. I'm getting divorced. Yes. And I've just stopped doing a lot of the things. One of the things that I noticed that I was doing to myself as a woman in business is I was just trying to add things to my title, like professor, mentor, entrepreneur, whatever, founder, advisor, board member, and it was starting to kill me because Emily stopped existing. She just disappeared. So I found myself in the woods in California about a year ago, and since then I have been trying to only do things that meet my social mission work and feed my soul. So I've pretty much said goodbye to everything besides my kids and my job. And it's been the best thing I've ever done. Hashtag this is 40. So I think I'm going through a tiny midlife crisis. So yeah, maybe I'll get another huge tattoo. So we've also, so this year we're also focused on saying no to everything that doesn't meet our mission, and then building our own products, and we started a podcast that I'll talk more about later. So currently, this is my team. And actually my intern's from Haiti. She's not on here. She's super cool. She wasn't there picture day. And it's really weird because I started my company in 2004 because I knew that business could be a force for good and not be just a sellout shit show that I had been working for the whole of my career and trained to do since I was in college. I went to Drake University for journalism, and I was trained to work for Meredith Corporation, and the thought of that I just wanted to die. So we've been doing social impact work since the beginning, before there was the word social enterprise, before there was all this stuff. And if I had had this when I was 26, holy shit, that would have been the most amazing thing. So if you're just getting started, yes, this is the right time. And talk to me, because I've screwed up so many times. But this is my partner, Demetrio, who I've known for 13 years, who I made partner a year ago, and he is my favorite person. I trust him with my life. But we've been doing this diversity, inclusion, equitable, yada, yada, social impact stuff since the beginning, and it is hardcore in our company. We take it extremely seriously. We only do work that hits a social impact mark. We only do work that hits a community benefit. I will not Robin Hood and work for Allstate. One of my competitors does that, so he'll be like, that's me, asshole. But yeah, but I won't take a big client and Robin Hood it to the other people. I'll just Robin Hood without the big one. So I don't know if you guys know what a certified B Corp is. Yeah, you do? Okay. Well, we're hardcore and kind of insane. So the certified B Corps are companies like Patagonia, Ben & Jerry's, This American Life, Etsy, Hootsuite, a bunch of others that are these do-good companies. And there are a lot of companies that are like, we do good work, we give back to the community, and that's great. But when I saw the owner of Shinola, I'm in Detroit, on a stage at the Chicago Chamber of Commerce say that he was doing good work and everything, I was like, how do you actually measure that? Do you have any benchmarks or measurements for that thing that you keep using as a marketing ploy? And he got really mad at me. And I was like, good. Because you have to prove it. You can't just use it as marketing. It's hot garbage. So, thanks. So it's not easy. So we took the B Corp assessment in 2014, and it measures you on 5 governance areas, 5 areas. And I know my talk's supposed to be about collaboration, but this is not possible without collaboration from my community, my environment, my city, my staff, and my support networks. It's not possible to do this. And we are codifying that effort every day. So we don't do so great on environment because we don't have supply chain, we're a service agency, but we do really well. And this is actually last year's, we're gonna be at 106, I think, next time, and we just won an award last year, so I'm gonna just smoke these awards, I'm so excited. But it measures things like how many of your vendors, like my developers or my whatevers, are people of color, are women. How many of them are in a 100-mile radius from where you are? How many of them are in underserved neighborhoods? So in order to, and I'm super competitive, so in order to get a better score and kind of outpace my competition just because for fun, I actively make sure that I am hitting these marks and I am finding other vendors. I did this anyway, but now I'm doing it even more deliberately all the time. And this has been one of the things that has helped us prove our marketing and attract talent. The biggest, like it is kind of a marketing thing to be a certified B, but the coolest part is I have a tech, I do tech work, I do design work, I do branding work. I have a high turnover of really young staff. Who has that problem? That wonderful, wonderful problem. Okay, some of you. Well, if you're going to start hiring younger, talented people, they will leave after 1 or 2 years. And it's expensive to try to train more people. Being a certified B Corp, I attract the kind of people who want to work for me without really having to do any marketing for my jobs at all. And I attract a diverse, really, really in it group of people every time. And it's been awesome. And I look them straight in the eye and I say, you could get a really high-paying job at an agency downtown, you know that, right? And they're like, I don't want to work for them. I want to work for you. And I've had interns, and is Bianca in here? Is she here? My little buddy, Bianca? No, she didn't come. Aw, I missed her. So I've had people, including Bianca, who have called me up and said, like, I just want to work for you. And they're people from crazy walks of life. I don't know if you saw this, but I made everybody these shirts because I had 5 words that described everyone on my team. My top word is misfit, because I attract misfits, and I employ misfits, and I work with misfits. And misfits like the Chicago Teachers Union, who we just rebranded, holy God, and are working on their website. They just debuted their logo yesterday. So, but we attract the weirdos, and we know that, and we love it, and that's baked into our corporate values. So there was, when we were talking about diversity and equity and inclusion, there actually is a way. There is a roadmap for that. It's the bcorporation.net Inclusive Economy Challenge. I don't know if you have to be a B Corp to do it, but you can just go here and download the stuff. It actually gives you, it's really hard. I haven't even done it. Holy shit. I just looked at it and I was like, oh my God, this is like a whole other job. But it gives you a really logical way to set goals for diversity and inclusion in your business and then figure out what that means to you on a daily practice and then measure whether or not you can actually do it. If you're interested in actually putting your work to the test, sign up to take the challenge or just download resources for participating companies. It's this amazing roadmap that you can just do. But one of the things that we do all the time is when we took that really hard look at ourselves in 2016 when we were about to go out of business and we kind of had to reinvent ourselves from the ground up, one of the systems that we did internally, so these are some internal systems to design impact in our own company, which is really where the work starts, is we codified our values. And I don't know if you've been to other conferences that are like, values are the most important thing. And I was always like, yeah, that's great. No, pricing is the most important thing, or marketing. Values are the most important thing, and when you don't pay attention to them, your staff quits or calls you a liar to your face or something bananas, and everything goes to shit. So if there's anything that you do in your company when you get back, is codify your values. And the exercise that we did that's so much fun to actually do this is I bought lunch for everybody because food brings people together, and we sat around the table and we all told stories. And I said, I want you to tell me the story of when the first time you decided, yeah, this is where I want to spend most of my time. I want to hear, what was that spark of like, I'm in, I want to work here. And some people drew pictures, some people wrote stories, some people just ripped up their paper and made a little basket. It was really bananas. But from that conversation, we came up with these 7 values. And so these values aren't me saying, these are my values. You have to get in line with these values if you want to work here. These were, we surface these values, and they change a little bit over time depending on what our mission is, what the political climate is, what the business climate is, and what's going on in Chicago, because sometimes it's completely insane. So the one that is the most important, the 2 that are the most important to me are Our success depends on our differences, which is I take very, very close care to make sure that I give everyone the room to be who they are. So we have things like paid family leave. I'm a company of 7. Paid family leave, universal vacation time, or unlimited vacation time, bring your kids to work. It's extremely flexible because I want people to come to work without the stress of having to manage their lives or thinking that, oh, I have to sacrifice so much to be here every day. Because that puts stress on them, it puts stress on the work, and it makes us less profitable. So it does kind of roll up to profit. The other thing I love is sometimes you have to do the dishes, which means literally sometimes you have to do the dishes because there's no one who does the dishes at our company. But that also means that it's not above you, it's not below you to do any job in the company if anyone needs it to get done. I take out the trash, I sign the checks. Someone else can, we do all the fridge gets nasty, I'm not gonna lie, it's disgusting. But, there's no hierarchy. And in one of the really cool, simple ways to dismantle hierarchy, because I'm really interested in the things that take apart patriarchal systems of centralized power, is in our company, instead of having, I'm CEO or whatever janitor, whatever my title is, and I have a project manager, he'll go back to Annie. So here's my company. Instead of having like strategy director, researcher, account director, developer, marketer, designer, we advocate for things. We advocate for pieces of the company and pieces of the work. So Demetrio is the advocate for the goal. So when we get off track, company, personal, work-wise, it's his job to bring us back on track. My job is to advocate for the vision of the company, which means our client's vision. So I'm making connections for them. I'm trying to figure out how to do budgets so it suits their needs more than my needs. And so Azmina here is the advocate for the facts. And so when we are talking about a business problem, or if I come up with some kind of crazy harebrained idea, it's her job to say, let's look at what is real, Emily. Let's take this down a level and see if this is actually a good idea or not so good idea. But everyone is empowered to approach the job, the business, and the work with their advocacy roles, and gives everyone a stake in the company. So we're not always trying to be like, well, the designer trumps the developer. That bad word choice, sorry. The designer is more important than the developer, or marketing supersedes the goals. Sorry, that was like awful. But it has democratized our company, and it actually makes my life easier because I don't have to make all the decisions. It's sweet. So let me go back to the slide that I was at. So I hinted a little bit about this, but one of the other things that we have done internally and externally, collaboratively, is to rethink the systems upon which the business is built. Because businesses, specifically corporations, are built on an old system that centralizes power with a few white dudes. And that is not sustainable. So when we think of corporations, corporations are built to maximize shareholder value. That is their legally defined goal. That is the only reason they exist. Anything else is not important. In a certified B Corp, we have a legally defined triple bottom line, serving people, planet, and profit, and I prioritize people and planet way above profit. But we think about our stakeholders. The stakeholders, my community, my family, their families, their extended families, the people that we volunteer for. There are so many other people impacted by our decisions at a business. So at a business level, we have rethought so many systems like our contracts. They require a lawyer to read. I'm not into that. I want a human being to be able to read our contracts. Non-competes are a traditional thing. If you have a tech agency, you probably have developers and people signing non-competes, which means if they leave your company, they can't take your intellectual property with them. I have thrown mine away because all that does is protect me to be a shitty boss. So that means if you work for me and I am not serving you well and you're unhappy and you decide that you're going to leave and you want to screw me over, in a non-compete situation, you've signed it. You can't do that, and I'm going to sue you. But if I haven't done my job well, that's my problem, not your problem. If I haven't done my job well as a boss, then I deserve to be sued. I deserve to have my intellectual property taken away because you're probably going to do it faster and better than me because I'm a crappy person. So my job as a boss is to make sure that I am serving my employees and my clients expertly and well every day so that if they do leave, we leave on great terms and none of that stuff happens. I shouldn't need a non-compete. I should just not be an asshole. So we've been trying to look at all these systems of I win, you lose, or I get the power, you don't get the power, because that just perpetuates a system that will not serve us in the long term. So this is a little crazy and like, aren't you a communist? And I'm like, well, I guess, I don't know. Is that maybe a social? Is it like, I don't know the definitions, but I'm just not a jerk, and I want to do business the right way, and I don't make a ton of money, you know, but I sleep at night and I don't have panic attacks anymore. So I'll skip ahead here. So I'm looking at collaboration too, and collaboration for me now is all about the external systems that I collaborate in. And like I said, I've been saying no to everything. I got really involved in Illinois politics for like 4 years doing lobbying work, and it almost killed me. And so I said goodbye to that because, dear Lord. And right now, I'm only really focused on that triple bottom line. So right now, I'm only looking to collaborate with these things. This is it. Like-minded media, students, and I actually am insane, so I mapped out my current ecosystem of where I collaborate and spend my time. And it made me mad that I was at the middle of it because it looks like I'm like the middle of some kind of universe, which is not what I like at all. But my very inner circle is where I spend all my time, and as you go out farther is where I spend a little less time, but it's not any less meaningful. So right now, my inner circle is my partner, Demetrio, my work partner. Church is 3 other business women who all run businesses, and we drink once a month in my backyard and light things on fire. That's church. When it's just 2 of us, we call it Bible study. It's super fun. But we keep each other really grounded and transparent, and there is nothing that we can't say to each other. We're all women. We come from very different ethnic, sexual, all the things, backgrounds, and we have all found commonality in the fact that we own businesses and we have a lot of stress. But we also like to drink and have bonfires. So then the LimeRed team, which is my staff, and then it goes out and out and out. But I am not going to let anything enter this ecosystem because this is already insane. And all of these things I have decided feed my soul the purpose of the work and my internal system, the very heart of the system. So by collaborating with these people, this actually keeps me a little sane-ish and still in love with my job. The way that I look at internal collaboration with my internal team about surfacing ideas and thoughts and direction from everyone and letting everyone have a piece of the business has won us a Best for the World award from B-Lab for governance, which we just won. It means that we are in the top 10. Thank you. Ooh. My marketing director tells me to introduce myself with that. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So that means in the top 10% of B Corps, which are already hardcore, we are in the top 10% of B Corps, which are already hardcore in the world for the way we run the company. So we're doing something right. I don't know, but I'm almost out of time. So I'm over time. But I wanted to tell you that there is no roadmap. There's no school where you can go to learn this crap. And I was in California earlier in the year to try to talk to other people who are doing it, and I was frustrated because I've taken a lot of business boot camps or Goldman Sachs yada yada things, and they all teach this really male-dominated old school business way of doing things. So I decided to do my own school. Just one more thing. So we will be launching a 6-part series on ethical business practices starting, I think, next month or the month after. And it will be an online 6-part thing with Q&A with me and my partner, lots of workbooks. You get the 2 books we wrote, and that will be up on our website in a little bit. And we've also started a podcast called Human Sense, which is when do you take that leap to decide that you are the person that needs to do the thing that's never been done before, that little microsecond where you're like, I can't not do this, or I'm never going to sleep again. So that's Human Sense, where we're trying to really hone in on that human spirit that embodies all the tech and design projects that we ever do. So thank you, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to play some games, and I'm going to show you how to do this in your companies when you get back. Okay? Yay.